Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be making jewelry holders. These are all with items mainly from the dollar store and just a few other things added in. All right, so let's get started. But before we do not forget to press subscribe. All right, so for the first one, I have this little drawer thing here that I got from the dollar store, and they're cute because they're clear. And I see a lot of things now with the whole acrylic type thing, and then wooden dowels. I have two different sizes here. And I have bobbins that I had that don't work well with my sewing machine. You don't have to use bobbins, but I use them because, like I said, I had them and they weren't working well, and the dowels fit well in them. But you would just use anything that you can use as a base, basically, to hold the dowels in place so that they don't, wiggle around when you're done. You can use big beads, you can use anything, what have you, and stuff. But I used them, and I just decided where I wanted to place them. I didn't want them to be side by side, so I placed them in different sections. And initially, I was going to glue the bottom and then do it, but when I put the glue in to glue the bobbin to the dowel, the glue leaked out to the bottom and it adhered to it, so I didn't need to go back and put glue on the bottom. And you can see there that it's nice and strong, and I can lift it already with just that amount of glue. But you just want to make sure whatever you do that it is secure to it, because once you start hanging your jewelry and stuff on it, you don't want it to wobble over. And then I'm just going to take two of the smaller dowels and glue those on top to make just a little T shape so that I can hang the jewelry that I will have from the top pieces. Once you're done with that, you're going to go in and you're going to tape off the edge so that you don't get paint on the acrylic part. It's probably better to paint them beforehand, but I wasn't sure which colors I wanted to use, so I did it after the fact. The chalk paint worked well with the bobbin. It stuck onto it well, but with the metallic paint that I did with the second one, it didn't. So I had to come in with the base coat of white and then go back over it with the gold. But at the end, I did like the way that it turned out. Okay, so for the next one, again, I'm going to be using items from the dollar store to make this. This hat I got last summer. I haven't been out to the dollar store recently because, everything. And these wooden paint stirrers I got from Ace. Everybody says you can get them from the dollar store or you can buy them at Home Depot. I got them from Ace because they were free. And then the little hooks I also got from the dollar store. So first I'm just going to measure out the little wooden sticks to see what size I want, because I'm going to be building my own frame. I also used a saw from the dollar store. I would not recommend. The struggle was real with this, and I don't think it should have been that hard because they were just paint stirrers. But so if you have a saw, use a regular saw or just something just to make it easier. I don't know. But anyway, so then I went back and I sanded the edges so that they wouldn't be rough when I was done. And then I just glued the pieces together. So you just lay them out and you'll glue them together in the back so that, of course, you don't see the glue. And of course, for this one, you're going to want to use like a strong type glue. And then again, I went in with the chalk paint. And as I was painting, someone called and they wanted to near it. So let them.
And then you guys are going to want to use not too much paint, sit it to dry, and then everything will be good.
So like she said, you don't have to use a lot of paint. You could even do this with a cute little wood stain, but I wanted to do it a white and black look. So I just really went over with one coat. You could go over with two if you wanted it to have like a heavy coat, but I didn't want. Then I went back in with the black chalk paint that I used before, and I went over the little hooks. You could leave the metal and then you just have a silver type finish, but like I said, I wanted a white and black look for this. With my hooks, even though they do have the little sticky side on the back, I did go in with some hot glue and give them a little extra because I am going to be hanging things from this and I do not want the pieces to fall off over time. All right, then I come back with the straw hat. I'm using the straw hat because it reminds me of the rattan or the caning that everybody is using. So this is a good alternative. I did see somebody use the draw liners too, and they painted those to get the rattan look, but I thought this was cuter because it has the natural type look to it and the color. So what I'm doing is just I cut the top part off of the hat, and then you know it does have a circle type shape to it, so it does bulge out, so you're going to need to cut it down so that it lays as flat as possible for this part. I did realize once I cut the pieces, they peel apart just kind of like in strips, kind of like string cheese here. So they just peel apart and then you can lay them down flat. So if you want to do it individually, you could do it that way too. But I took a big chunk that laid down the flattest right there, and then I glued that onto the back. And again, you're going to want to use a strong type of glue because you're going to be hanging your jewelry pieces from this. And then I took another piece and I put it on the bottom and I glued it all around. I didn't worry too much about it overlapping on the edges there at the time because I was going to cut those off at the end. And then those two pieces that are overlapping each other there on the back, I'm just going to glue them also in the front and then put something heavy on it while it dries so that they kind of stick together. Once I was done with it, you can't really see it too much in the camera, but once I was done with it, you can see the line where they joint together because I didn't match them up like, you know, super perfect. So I'm just going to take another wooden dowel and more of the little hooks and make like a little piece to go over it. I'm also putting a picture hanger thing on the back. If you don't have one, you can just use string, you can use yarn, you can use whatever, but just something so that you'll be able to hang it. So I'm using that and I'm just going to glue it down, and that is it. And now for the last one is just a little catch-all dish. So you know you can throw your change in that night. You can throw your rings, your earrings, or what have you and stuff. And I'm just getting a little bowl that I got from the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to paint it with the chalk paint. I like using the chalk paint because it doesn't have a shiny finish. So it looks something like maybe a clay or ceramic type bowl when you're done with it. And I'm just going to go over it and paint. I wanted to show you too also, so that you don't get your fingers messy, you can just use like a little stick or something to hold it in place while you paint around it, because you know it will move around if you don't have anything holding it in place. Once that dries, then I flip it over and I come back in with the gold paint. I don't have a chalk type finish or a matte type finish for a gold. So with this, I had to use a few different layers because it doesn't stick to the plastic the same way that the chalk paint does. I did also go over the edges because I want you to be able to see the gold from whichever angle you are looking at the bowl. And this one is like more of a zodiac inspired one. I was going to write out the whole wording, but I didn't have a fine tip paintbrush, so I'm just gonna do a zodiac sign in the middle, and it doesn't have to be neat because you can see mine is not neat at all, but it's supposed to look handmade. So that's basically it for that one, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe, and I will be doing more videos just like this and other fashion inspired DIYs. Bye.